Happy Thursday and welcome to another edition of Husker Online Headlines. Sean Callahan, Steve Sipple, we're with you here every week as we break down the five biggest headlines in Husker Nation here as we head into Saturday's game with Michigan. Steve Sipple, but our first couple of headlines are not about the game. It's going to take a lot to trump Michigan, Nebraska, but Trev Alberts and the university did here on Thursday as Nebraska's Memorial Stadium, which is celebrating its 100th year anniversary, will undergo a massive renovation project at $450 million, $225 million of which will be privately funded. Construction, at least the early preliminary stages, will start to begin here in the spring of 2024. But the big news, and we'll get in this headline too, is South Stadium will be torn out and unavailable to fans in 2025. But your first reaction, read to these renovations here at Memorial Stadium?
It's massive. I mean, this is the biggest facilities project, I think, in the history of the university. It is.
Dang near private state.
Yeah. $450 million, as you said. I thought it would be closer to 300, but it's 450. They're going to blow up South Stadium. As you noted in your story today, Sean, that the South Stadium has never been renovated. That's 100 years. It's never been renovated. Now they're going to rip it to the ground, okay, and start it again. Now, it will disrupt the 2025. Well, I mean, disrupt from a fan standpoint, the 2025 season. Now, Trev is also, I think, saying the 2020. Yeah, he is saying 2026 is also something that could be affected. That this is, if it all goes according to plan, it would only affect the 2025 season. But the way the AD talks is, you almost, in a project like this, expect there to be holdups. So it could be 2026 too. Chairback seats, something people have talked about forever. Yeah, there's going to be chairback seats, East Stadium, West Stadium, South Stadium. There's things like improved concessions, improved new bathrooms,
concourses,
amenities, concourses, all the stuff. Well, I mean, $450 million, that's going to be a lot.
Well, yeah, and to kind of put that number in perspective, just on another local project. So the Mutual of Omaha building is going to be built in downtown Omaha. That's going to be the tallest building in Nebraska's history. That's 677 square foot tall, or tall building. That's a brand new building. That project is going to cost $600 million.
Yeah. So
this is already a pre-existing stadium that's going to be just spruced up and renovated for $450. So
yeah,
it kind of puts in to perspective the size of this project, because we're talking, think if they had to rebuild Memorial Stadium, what it would cost, like the whole thing. Right. But just to do a renovation, it's almost the cost of what this 677 square foot or tall building, Mutual Omaha building, would cost. Right. But the big thing, the concourses will be something to talk about, because now you'll be able to get around the entire stadium everywhere
on the ground level,
on the concourses. Then there'll be a second level concourse that will be 270 degrees. Won't be all the way around.
Right.
But here's the key. Now, if you had parking at Haymarket Park, you wouldn't have to walk all the way around to get to the south to get in. You could enter the stadium at any gate, and get to your seats.
Okay.
And that has always been a struggle for some fans, because if you park somewhere else, you got to get all the way around the other side to get into your gate.
Right.
Because there might be only one or two gates that you could get into to go to your seats. That will be a big thing. But the chairback thing is something, and here's another look at it here. Megan has posted of what that south end zone is going to look like, and how that's going to go. There'll be more skybox suites and premium seating elements added. The North Stadium, Steve Sipple, will be no chairbacks, and there will be at least around 9,000 seats, I'm told, that will not have donations tied to them.
Okay.
And they're shooting for those to be like the $25 tickets.
Okay.
But they're going to have to reseat the stadium, rework the donation map plan, because right now there's a grandfathering system in place. There's a lot of things that have to get unpacked. But I think lost in the fine print is they're going to reduce capacity down to the mid 70s.
Yeah. You think it'll be mid 70s?
Yeah. 75, 76. I think
We reported
80. Yeah, that was on the announcement of the stadium being 90,000, but the stadium is really 86.
Okay.
When you count the workers and media, it brings it up to 90,000 on game days.
Yeah.
But I think the seating is 86.
Okay.
So it would bring it down to like 75.
Wow. Now that's where it should be. Now that's where it was back in the
pre
day.
99.
Yeah, back. Yeah, I was gonna say back in the day, but it was 75 when I was growing up. I'm 57, Sean. When I was growing up, it was 75. That's what it was. So they're going back down to, as you said, pre 1999.
So my freshman year of college was the very first year of the new Skybox West Side. So in my working career, I was credentialed my first game freshman year of college all the way since. I've always been in the new press box. I don't even know what the old one was like.
I do.
Was it tight?
Yes, it wasn't terrible, but it was tight. Now, Sean, you're, full disclosure here to our listeners, our viewers, you are about as much of a stadium expert as there is. I have never paid all that much attention to it because it's a stadium. It's a construction. Then this is a construction project. I recognize it's gargantuan, but yeah, you are very in tune with this type of thing. I've never bought a ticket to a game. I mean, I wouldn't even know how to do it.
Well, I mean, I'm invested
God,
in the sense
terrible.
I grew up going to games in South End Zone.
Right.
Like our seats were row 88. And in a lot of ways, like the South End Zone is the grassroots, everyday working Husker fan. That is the part of the stadium with the least amount of donors, high dollar seats. Those are, the diehards, the people that are important parts of your fan base. And so, this is a major project because you've got to figure this out. Because you're gonna basically tear down an old house, and build really, really nice houses on the south, and then those people have to make a decision if they want to stay there, if they can, or want to pay the money, or maybe move to the north. But yeah, there's a lot here. But the backfill opportunities of the stadium are what intrigue me the most.
Backfill,
so
meaning
all of the new Go Big project is 315,000 square feet. So when they move out of that, the football stuff moves into the new place.
Oh, to the North Stadium.
All of the things that are currently in the west and the north, and even the east, there's so many things that are going to be able to be done in the stadium now.
Okay.
Moving forward, I think what you're going to see probably happen on the west side, like currently where the athletes eat and study, that's going to be turned into some sort of sweet sports bar, lounge kind of club.
Think so?
Yeah,
think so?
It'll be exclusive. It will come with, like, God bless Grant Hansen. He goes, God, it's going to be really hard to get a reservation in there on game. Like, Grant, you won't be able to get a reservation there. I mean, like, that will come with your seats, and you'll have to be probably in a regular, that will be a premium amenity added to a seat where you'll get to go in this all-inclusive sports bar inside the stadium. And
you think that's what they'll do?
Yeah, that's what they said they're going to do.
Oh, okay.
That's the only kitchen in the stadium.
Interesting.
And so they can do a lot in there. I mean, there's a full kitchen already in there. So you can turn that into like a champions club inside the stadium, essentially.
Okay.
Where, you can get to the game. Say Nebraska's playing Michigan at 2:30. You're going to be able to go in, hang out in the bar in the stadium, drink, eat lunch, watch college football, then just mosey right up to your seats.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to make it cool. But again, I still think it's going to be important to keep that grassroots fan too. You cannot make Memorial Stadium all premium. There has to be entry points for all points of fans.
Okay. That makes sense. You know what else makes a great stadium? Really good football.
Yeah. And somebody I was talking to the day said about this thing. They're like, if Nebraska was winning, I think people would figure out a way to be comfortable.
Oh, exactly. But I think so. I mean, we don't have to get into this long discussion about how it's more difficult to get the average fan to a stadium. We've been through all that. The bottom line is Nebraska is going to make it a great experience for fans, as great as they possibly can. And I'm telling you, Sean, going back to 75,000 is a big step toward that. It is. It's interesting. Now, here's the thing about it that's interesting. What if Nebraska did get really good again? I guarantee you the demand would exceed 75,000. That would be a wonderful problem to have.
Well, there was a time
I long for that to happen.
there was a time before premium seating and booster priority points where that season ticket list was 10,000 plus long.
Exactly. It's not that now.
But once you start price tiering and having, it makes it, you're not, the face value of the ticket is kind of a joke. I mean, very few people are paying just $56 or whatever it is, or $70 to go to the game. I mean, it's much more than that to go to a game.
Right.
When you have to invest in season tickets. But yeah, there's a lot there. The money thing still intrigues me too, because they have to come up with $225 million.
Private donations
and
private funding, we'll call it.
And I don't know. I mean, how many people are just, how many more people are going to just be thrilled to write a check for a stadium thing?
Why do you say that? Because it's a construction project. It's not sexy.
It's not like the new academic or training table or weight room. And that was built before NIL. Now we're in this NIL era.
So now this is what the modern ADs face: raising money for both a construction project and NIL.
Well, they're in competition.
Yeah, they're in competition. It's not the AD who's raising money for NIL. Let me be clear, but there's competition for that money to pay play. Yeah, it's very, very, and believe me, that's a real conversation that Trev has, because I've had it with him. I mean, there's competing dollars there. There's competing interests. If you're a high dollar donor or just a donor, where do you want your money to go? Do you want it to go to a construction project, or a
left tackle?
A left tackle or QB.
I mean, to me, there's much more prestige if you're a big supporter and saying, yeah, that left tackle is here because of me.
Yeah, and Trev does not want to hear you say that right now.
But versus like these chairbacks, I bought them,
right. Yeah, no, you're right.
I paid for the beer taps.
That's the competition.
I mean, so it's going to be a fascinating discussion. Before we get to headline number 2, show is brought to you by Caldera Lab. We all know first impressions matter, and if you're not taking care of your skin, that's going to be the first thing somebody notices and instantly either thinks you're way older than you are, Sipple,
stop,
or you just don't care about your appearances.
Stop.
Show them that you do want to make a great first impression by getting on Caldera Lab. I've been using Caldera Lab for the last several months. It's a great product. It's super easy to use. In the morning, you put it on, wash your face. It takes less than a minute to do. You do it before you go to bed. And you feel the results. Your face looks fresher. Your skin looks better. It's a real easy 3-step process. 94% of men's skin showed overall younger looking appearances after using Caldera Lab for just a few weeks. We've got a great offer for our Husker Online users. Visit calderalab.com right now. Use promo code Husker and you'll receive 20% off. That's calderalab.com, promo code Husker to receive 20% off Caldera Lab. Thank you again to Caldera Lab for sponsoring us here on Husker Online Headlines. All right, let's take it, Steve Sipple, to headline number 2 on the show. Back to the stadium. How will the fans be impacted on this? And I think the biggest one, and we hit on this a little bit, is the south end zone. You're going to have roughly 22,000 fans in the south that are not going to have their seats for sure in 2025. And I think you almost need to prepare for 2026. Yeah,
that's what the AD says. That's what Trev says.
So how do they make this work?
Yeah, how do they?
And somebody else I talked to said you almost got to bank on 2026 too. It's going to be, I mean, you're going to have everything go right for it just to be 1 year. Weather, supply chain, all the things that are uncontrollable.
So at some point, they're going to have to come up with a different ticketing system. That conversation is not imminent. It can't be. And I wouldn't, if I were the AD, make it imminent. You push that. I
think you wait until you really have to, but you have students in the South.
Okay.
You can't not have students at games. So the students are going to be taking, I mean, if you didn't take care of the students,
you need the band and the students taken care of.
So like they're going to be shipped
in the South.
They're going to have to probably sit in the East somewhere
like that.
And I'm just guessing the ticket pool that's probably going to get cut out first is faculty and staff. I mean, you have thousands and thousands of tickets that don't have donations that go to faculty and staff.
Is that thousands and thousands?
Yes.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, literally the whole east side, a lot of that is faculty staff. I mean, there's a lot of, so I would imagine that's going to be where a hit comes to try to relocate some people and the students in the band. But you cannot not have 22,000 people all not paying. I mean, you have to figure out a way to get some of them in that have donations and whatnot, because you don't want to lose that money.
Do you understand how challenging this will be for an AD, and how many very unpleasant emails Trev will receive during this process?
Every email will start out, my family has had
Right.
tickets for 50 years. My family has had tickets in their name for 4 generations.
Yep.
We're no longer going to keep our tickets. We're really upset. I mean, that will be a lot of the emails Trev has to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And it won't be pretty, but
no, not all of them. They won't. Some of them won't be very pretty at all.
But
some people will be fine.
So, I mean, but if you're like Trevor, like, what am I going to do? Not tear down and do this project because your tickets,
right?
I mean, it will be really, really difficult, especially for possibly 2 years.
Right. The reorganization process will be very challenging, and he'll have to say no to a lot of people. Sean, ADs have to say no. ADs often are pretty unpopular. They are, because you know why? Somebody has to say no at sometimes. Sometimes people have to say no to fans, and an AD is usually the one doing it.
Well, they've really had to squeeze it hard, though, to fill the South and the back of the North lately.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you would hope that there's maybe 3,000 or 5,000 seats a year that they're just squeezing like hell to fill, whether it's companies buying them up or different ticket packages or whatnot. And maybe you figure out a way like, okay, we can't service everybody in the South with full season ticket packages. We've been able to figure out 6,000 seats, and each person will get 2 games. And, you know, they'll kind of pair games together. I mean, I think you're gonna have to do something like that.
Yeah.
Where maybe you figure out a way to pair games together in seats that you relocate and move, and everybody will at least still get a few seats. Because I don't think you want to go potentially 2 full years of leaving key people out in the cold.
Oh God, you may not get some of them back.
No.
It's going to be really interesting.
Well, and I have a really good friend who knows the ticket industry well, and I mean, what he thinks will end up happening, it will be a reseat. And that, and so what will happen,
I call it a reorganization, but a reseat is better. The
grandfathering will be done.
Oh boy.
And they have to get rid of it. I mean, Nebraska is the only place in the world that has this many grandfathered seats where like your prices from like 1980 are still the same price.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Little bit's changed since that time, and they have to kind of clean that up. I mean, Steve Rosen, who does business writing for us, broke that down. And Nebraska was the only stadium anywhere that had the number of grandfather. I mean, we're talking 20 to 30,000 people with grandfather locked in pricing.
This is going to get interesting.
And other places that we talked to might have a couple hundred.
How far away are we from that discussion?
Probably the winter of
2024,
the off season of 2024. After the 2024 season,
that's what I figured.
I think you have to figure it out and, you know, figure that list out and squeeze it out a little bit.
Is there any reason you'd have to do it before? I don't think there is any reason before then.
Yeah, I think we're
not ADs, Sean.
You weigh everything out, but then like what you'd probably have to do is use it priority points. So the reseating would probably be based on your priority points, and the people with more points would pick first, and then they would get to decide what they want to pay, where they want to sit.
Okay. Wow.
And on down the line.
Wow.
But
wow, this is a wow moment.
I mean, the other thing about this is if you're taking the stadium down from 86 to 75, but you still want to make the same amount of money, right? They're not doing this to make less money, Steve Sipple.
No, you can't. Yeah. So what are you suggesting? Higher ticket price.
So there's going to be, it's going to be, some will be good. Some will be high. Like, I mean, it will be very expensive. I mean, there's going to be a lot of premium options though. And I do think people want premium options. Not everybody.
When you say premium option, what do you mean by
club, amenity access, restaurant, loge, box?
Yeah.
You know, one of the things he said, like they're looking at potential field level boxes. You know, just like other things.
Which they have at other stadiums.
He wouldn't commit to the number of sky boxes they have. And when I wrote my book 10 years ago, they were at 102, I think.
102 skyboxes.
And there might be a couple more they've added, though, on level 6. So it might be like 105 now. But at that time, and I believe it's still the same, they had by far the most boxes in the Big Ten. They had more than Ohio State and Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So,
Sean, there's going to be many conversations to be had before 2025 when it comes to this.
Yeah, it will be Trev's got a lot of meetings.
Gosh, yeah, I mean, as far as Trev goes, this will largely define his tenure, I would think. Right?
Because the fans in the stadium are the biggest thing this place has.
Yeah.
And that's why it's here. That's why we're here. That's why Matt Rule's making what he's making. It's the fans in that stadium.
And I'll tell you something. Matt Rule this is not his purview at all. But the quality of Nebraska's football program it's big in this. It's important in this conversation. It is. It will be going forward. I mean, you can't just expect that fans will keep putting up with mediocre football. At some point, they're not going to. You'll see an effect if that continues to happen. Again, that's not really Rule's concern. He can't. That's not why he does what he does. But that's in the ADs. That's got to be in the back of his boss's mind, and not even too far back in his mind.
And all right, before we get on to headline number 3, this show is brought to you by Bauer Underground. They're helping shape Nebraska's infrastructure future, and they're looking for new members to join the team with open positions for laborers, equipment operators, aerial linemen, and foremen. Bauer Underground is searching for the best in construction. Visit BauerUnderground.com to learn more about career opportunities and industry-leading benefits, including competitive pay, employer-paid health insurance, dental, disability, vision, and life insurance, 401k match, new top-of-the-line equipment, and a clothing allowance. No experience in underground utility construction? No problem. Bauer will train the right people in the field, giving you the hands-on experience that you need to build a long, rewarding career. Want to learn more? Visit Bauer Underground on Facebook to view testimonials from current Bauer teammates, hear about their experiences, the company culture, and the importance of their work. Bauer Underground is family-owned with crews and work sites across Nebraska. Wherever you live, Bauer has an opportunity for you. For more information, like Bauer Underground on Facebook or visit BauerUnderground.com. Come start your new career today. All right, headline number 3, Steve Sipple. There's a strange lack of buzz for this game with Michigan, and the stadium thing's kind of added to that because that's where all the talk is right now today. But the number 2 ranked team is coming to Lincoln to play Nebraska, and this is only the 3rd time since Nebraska's been a Big Ten member that Michigan has played a game in Lincoln.
Okay, now, first of all, did you feel that lack of buzz? Is that something you feel?
I just think there's this notion that Nebraska is not going to win this game, and a lot of people just have moved on already. I think there's just kind of like, we're not ready to play a team like Michigan.
Okay. I think it's the conversation's more nuanced than that. I do think there's a lack of buzz, but I think it's more about this game feels somewhat predictable. Not that Nebraska's way overmatched, though. You understand what I'm saying? What's the score you're predicting?
27-13.
That doesn't suggest way overmatched, but it does suggest predictable. Like, I feel like Nebraska fans are very astute, and they're expecting something like you're saying, where a game, in simple terms, Sean, where Nebraska's in it, they're in it, but you never really feel like they're going to win. That Michigan's probably in control most of the game. Nebraska's never really out of it, but they're never really in it. This is what I want. You know what would be beautiful? And I'm surprised by this. I'm frankly, now I think different than a lot of people. I understand that. But I'm shocked by the lack of buzz for one reason, Sean. If Nebraska wins this game, the season and the expectations and the sort of the level of excitement turns on a dime. It really does. Because why? Because the rest of the schedule, Sean, can I put it this way? The rest of the schedule after Michigan is as manageable as it will ever be for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. For the rest of our lives.
Because Oregon and USC and Washington and UCLA aren't here. There's no Ohio State. There's no Penn State.
Nebraska will never have a schedule this manageable for the rest of our lives. Okay. If you beat Michigan and you face this schedule, all the possibilities in the world are before you.
Did you write that this week?
I should.
I was going to say, this is a good column.
Especially if you go beat Illinois, where you'll probably be a pick'em. Right?
Pretty close to. I mean, you think about the schedule. Michigan State on the road. All of a sudden, that doesn't look that bad. I mean, in November, those players could be in the portal. Those coaches have a foot out the door trying to find their next job.
Your toughest game might be a home game against Maryland.
At Wisconsin at night.
Tough.
Now, they haven't called it yet a night game, but it's expected to be a night game.
But right now, if I were picking, if Maryland and Wisconsin were playing on a neutral field, I'd pick Maryland. That's all I'm saying, Sean. Maryland's the fourth best team in the league right now in the Big Ten. Not in the, I mean, the fourth best team in the Big Ten as a whole.
And you can't really name the fifth.
Wisconsin, probably.
By default.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a little surprised that there's not more buzz, because the opportunity this presents and what it would take for Nebraska to pull this upset isn't a crazy notion. It is maybe force a couple turnovers, maybe get a pump block, maybe get something on special teams. And Sean, if you can get to 17 points, if you're Nebraska, there'll be major pressure on Michigan at that point. Because I think you got a defense here that can hold them in the kind of the early 20s.
Yeah, there's two things about this game that worry you. Can Nebraska's defense get off the field on third down?
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to be.
Yeah, that's big.
I mean, they're going to be really good at executing third downs.
Yeah, they got McCarthy, who's a five-star quarterback.
And then on offense, will they protect? Like, I mean, are they going to find runs like we've seen? Probably not. So when they have to pass, can they protect Harburg? And we think it's going to be Harburg.
Yeah.
Can he get it out? I mean, is he going to get it out? I mean, is he going to get it down? I mean,
how are they going to move the balls when it comes down to?
Is Billy Kemp and Marcus Washington and John Bullock and Tommy Hill are
Alex Bullock? They're not moving John, are they?
They haven't moved him yet. But are they going to be good enough to get open against Michigan corners?
Great question. Yeah, great question. The back end of Michigan's defense, the front end's really good. They're just good. I mean, it's the top rated scoring defense in the country.
But they've also had the best schedule of anybody in the country.
True.
I mean, honestly,
or most anybody.
Who has had an easier schedule?
Well,
Georgia, maybe Georgia.
Maybe somebody. Are you talking Power 5?
Yeah.
Power 5.
Most non-Power 5s have to play teams.
Good point.
To get money.
Yeah, I wonder if they have the easiest.
Georgia's is right up there.
I know this. Michigan fans are tired of it. I heard a Michigan writer on a radio show, and Michigan fans are tired. It's not just this year. It was last year too. They didn't play anybody last year in the non-con.
This was the kind of schedule Frost wanted to put together in the beginning of the year. Remember?
Yes.
Tried to get out of the Oklahoma game just to get some wins. I mean, but it's like Michigan and Georgia haven't played anybody, and they're still ranked 1 and 2.
That's ridiculous, by the way, especially on Michigan's count. All it is
a reputation.
Yeah, their ratings are born of what they did in recent years. That's exactly right.
Or like, if you're being true on rankings right now, like Texas and Washington should be way higher.
Or Ohio State.
Ohio State now too.
I mean, Texas has a win in Tuscaloosa, and Ohio State has a win in South Bend. They should be higher. Michigan has nothing. Georgia has nothing.
Okay, so if Duke, and if like say a team like Duke beat Clemson, say if they beat Notre Dame this weekend,
they should be
be in the top 8.
Yeah. Anyway, Michigan 49th nationally in rushing offense. They haven't gotten untracked. 60th in total offense. Now Blake Corum is the guy you worry about as the running back. Now he has been pretty good. 351 yards, 6.1 yards per carry. The number that really gets your attention, Sean, J.J. McCarthy completing 79.8% of his passes. He's hitting 80% of his passes. 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, all against Bowling Green.
He has not been stressed.
No, not really. They've scored 30 plus points and they haven't given up more than 10. So yeah, it is what it is. This is what I'm getting at. What can Nebraska stress them? And how would Michigan? Now Michigan will probably react like a championship outfit. They've won 2 straight Big Ten championships. They got a lot of old players, but you'd want to see this this season, how they'll react if it's 10-7 Nebraska at halftime, something like that.
This schedule at Michigan, I mean, he's built it for this team to peak in November. Like,
yeah,
September is almost like a preseason month
for sure. Yeah.
And then October it gets going, but then they're built up to play Penn State and Ohio State and go to the playoff.
They're built up, for that. And also you could take that conversation and just apply it to a game. It's just one game. They're built to win in the fourth quarter, Sean. If Nebraska's up by 7 going into the fourth quarter, it's still going to be really hard because they're going to keep hammering. They're going to hammer away, and it's going to be 90+ degrees, and your guys are going to get taxed. Now, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Rule has been playing all those guys on defense with this in mind. Maybe that's what he had in mind. Guys, we're not going to play 12 guys on defense against Michigan because we'll get hammered. We're going to have to play 25, 28, 30 guys, or we're going to get hammered. Maybe Rule, like good leaders do, think 2 or 3 steps ahead of everybody else, which may have been the case.
This game could be under 3 hours, though. I mean,
it'll go fast. It'll probably go fast.
I mean, both teams are going to pound it.
Yep.
Try to.
Yep.
All right. Before we get to headline number 4, the show and segment brought to you by CHI Health. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. This year, it's estimated that over 288,000 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer and over 34,000 men will die from the disease. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and I want to remind you all to talk to your healthcare provider about when to begin prostate cancer screenings. Men age 50 and older should talk with their healthcare provider about when to begin screenings. Finding prostate cancer early makes treatment easier. If you don't have a provider, visit chihealth.com to find a provider in a CHI Health clinic near you. Thank you again to CHI Health for sponsoring the Husker Online show. Okay, headline number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the Heinrich Haarberg show again?
Seems to be, right? Matt Rule said on Thursday that Jeff Sims wasn't all the way back from his ankle injury. It just makes it's a common sense discussion in my mind that the player that started against Louisiana Tech should start against Michigan the next week. That's what makes the most sense. Now the variable that we're not altogether clear on is what's it look like in practice. But I haven't heard anything from my sources. I don't think you've heard anything from yours. It would suggest that Sims made a big jump on Haarberg this week. I don't think that's happened. No. So yeah, I expect to see Haarberg.
I think it's going to be Haarberg until he makes them have a reason to put Sims back in.
Yeah. Okay.
Whether that's injury or mistakes.
Yeah.
But I think Haarberg, if they keep winning, playing well, he's the guy.
But I think you're right. But I would add this. They're going to need them both. Haarberg, you saw him last week. He was taking shots last week against Louisiana Tech. They're going to need both. And that's what I'm sure they keep telling Sims.
Smart people will tell you the way Haarberg runs and plays, he won't be able to do that all year.
You wouldn't think. And Michigan will be a gigantic, I'll call it a test in that regard, because Michigan, this is big boy football.
Yeah, this is not the Big 8 in 1987.
No, he's going to get hammered. He's going to get hammered on Saturday.
There's a reason why in the NFL quarterbacks don't run.
Right.
The league, the Big 10 is like the NFL.
It's the closest, like NFL scouts will tell you, it's the closest league to the NFL there is, more so than the SEC. You're right. I mean, just look at it through the prism of the option play. I don't think the speed option is going to be available against Michigan. They're too good on the edges. Their defensive ends are long, tough, great football players. Are out, their backers flow really well. They'll bring a safety down, and he'll be a great one. It's going to be tough to run a speed option on this team, especially Haarberg just keeping it.
And even like if you try like speed option pass, like a pass out of a fake, like, are you good enough to execute that?
Right.
I mean, without getting sacked.
What we're getting to here is how's Nebraska going to move the ball? And Heinrich is obviously he's got to figure that out. Not on his own, but he's the impetus.
If you win the toss, you're deferring, right?
I don't. Yeah. Why do you say that?
If you're Nebraska, you want your defense out there first, right?
Yeah, I think so. The other part of this discussion is, and it kind of goes back to why there's a lack of buzz. I'm going to guess, Sean, that Michigan is better than Nebraska at every single position on the field. Reality. But you know what? So how do you win? Well, here's how you win. If your quarterback's really good, you can win. Now, that's putting a lot on Harburg. It doesn't mean he's got to be the best quarterback every week in the Big Ten. I'm not suggesting that. But if Nebraska is going to win this game, Harburg's going to have to be really good. Can you envision a scenario where Nebraska beats Michigan and we walk over here and do the show on Saturday night and say, man, they won, but Harburg wasn't very good?
No.
I mean, how do you do that? How would you do it?
How would you Michigan, do it? Harburg will need over 100 yards rushing
and 200 passing. Once again, here we go. We used to do that with Adrian. Man, if Nebraska's going to win at Wisconsin, Adrian better run for 100 and throw for 250. So we're doing that again, right? Are we doing that again? We just putting it all on the quarterback?
My thing with the passing, though, is like who on Nebraska's receiving group can get big plays?
Well, that's been the conversation.
Not just season. Standard plays,
that's
big
the
plays,
right? There's no Palmer, there's no Teray,
no Kenny Bell,
So yeah, what do you do? That's where coaching comes in. It'll be very difficult to move the ball, which is why, man, it's time. Get some turnovers.
Yeah, you're not going to.
This guy threw 3 interceptions against Bowling Green. Get 1, get 2. I mean,
you're not going to beat Michigan with station-to-station baseball.
No, probably not.
I mean, you're going to have to stretch out some singles to doubles.
Yep.
Using my baseball now.
That was good, Scotia. That was really good.
Station to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what station-to-station baseball is. Yeah.
You're not just going to slap singles and advanced runners from
probably not.
You're going to have to do something bigger than that.
Yeah.
Or hope McCarthy turns it over.
Yeah, he, like I said, 3 against, he's an elite quarterback. He's the best quarterback in the Big Ten. You can't count on him throwing interceptions, but try to get some turnovers. I think that's, another thing, Sean, if you're even or minus in turnovers, do you think you're beating Michigan? I doubt it. So you know what the formula is, and a lot of it's going to be defense and special teams. Special teams are going to have to be really good.
All right, before we get to headline number 5, the show brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. We are now in the peak of the NFL season, which means we are in the peak season of fantasy. You already know about fantasy. Underdog Sports wants you to know what you don't know yet. From now until October 4th, they have increased their deposit match to $500.
I'll be darned.
That means when you download Underdog and make that first deposit, they will double that number up to $500. So put 500 in, they'll give you 500. Underdog Fantasy has a lot to offer, including their Pick'em game. And Pick'em, you pick whether your favorite player will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. It's so easy to play. Just pick 2 to 5 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can do 20 times your money by going 5 of 5. They also have Best Ball Mania. If you think you know football, you've got to check this one out. This year's Best Ball Mania has $15 million in total prizes up for grabs, with the winner taking home $3 million. So sign up today with promo code Husker to get your first deposit doubled up to $500 until October 4th. Visit underdogfantasy.com or find them in the App Store. And don't forget to register with the promo code Husker to get your first deposit doubled up to $500. You must be 18 and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with play, call 800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Thanks again to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring here on the Husker Online Show. Underdog Sports, proud sponsor here of the Husker Online Headline Show. All right, final headline, Steve Sipple. We're going to find out, is this Nebraska defense for real? We've kind of gone back and forth in the stat, but according to NCAA.com, they lead the nation in rushing defense. Technically, James Madison, who I believe is not bowl eligible, they don't count in the NCAA stats because they're in a transitionary period. They're number 1, but I mean, Nebraska's got one of the best rush defenses in the country.
They do, and I talked about this on Husker Online radio show earlier this week. I think I talked about it. You don't want this game to look anything like last year's game in Ann Arbor looked like. And that was Nebraska getting shoved off the line. Michigan's offensive line shoving Nebraska off the line of scrimmage. And really in the second half, it was really pronounced but I don't think it'll happen. Michigan's not as good up front this year as they were last year. And Nebraska's better up front. Their front seven, Nebraska's front seven is pretty formidable. Nash has gotten better, right? Nash Hutmacher. Ty Robinson's gotten better. Cam Lenhart's playing at a high level. Gunnarson's playing pretty well. You like the linebackers. So I don't think it'll look like last year. I do think it's real. I think this defense will hold in there pretty well. But they got to hold in there it's got to be 4 quarters.
Can Nash Hutmacher eat up 2 guys too? That's big. I mean, he's done that well the last few weeks. Mm-hmm. If he can eat up people, it's going to make the backside. Now, we did get good news on Luke Reimer. Matt Rule said on Thursday that Luke Reimer is on track to play in this game.
Big. Big because he's capable of, being that guy who makes 6 to 10 tackles, but also he'll be unfazed by all this, and he gets the defense set really well. He understands what needs to be done. He'll get players in the right spots. So that is really good news. Really good news for Nebraska. And Cam Lenhart
is questionable.
Oh, they've put him questionable.
Matt Rule said on Thursday questionable.
Ooh, because Tony White said on Tuesday that he was back in practice going full go.
And maybe Rule is just trying to kind of temper it a little bit or play a little smoke screen out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the headline, we'll find out if Nebraska's defense is for real. We absolutely will. We will. I mean, this is as good as they're going to play all year.
Can they get home on
with
4?
With 4.
One, can their blitzes be effective and not be picked up?
Right. There's a lot that's going to go into this, but a lot of it's patience too. They gotta, because Michigan's going to hammer away. Michigan's got to be patient. Is what I'm talking about. Michigan's going to hammer away. Can Nebraska have? I heard you talk about it on your Omaha KFAB show. There's a mental test here with Nebraska where I could see this game being close going into the 4th quarter. But is that where Michigan gets the advantage? Because what they think. Oh, we'll win it in the 4th quarter. That's what Michigan's thinking.
Like, oh, I'm going to last 12 rounds with Bud Crawford, but I'm still going to get smoked in a decision.
Right. Yeah. So you're right about it. It's a physical test, but it's also a mental one. In Michigan, because they're in the 8th year of Harbaugh, the 9th year of Harbaugh, they're an established program with veteran players. Do they have a distinct advantage in that situation? Probably, unless Nebraska on a given Saturday says, no, we're going to the wire with this team. That's what you hope. Nebraska has a lot of veteran players too.
I'm excited. Then they come back for a short week. Mm-hmm. Illinois Friday.
Yeah. Well, think about, again, I go back to what we were talking about earlier. That the lack of buzz is strange to me because of what could happen if Nebraska wins this game and the way the rest of the season, the way you look at the rest of the season, which is, oh my God, look at this schedule. This is, again, we'll repeat it because it's bears repeating. Nebraska will never again have this manageable a schedule in our lifetime.
Yeah, when you beef up the Big Ten.
Yeah, it'll never be. And even, it's just Nebraska's got a good schedule this year, really manageable.
Yeah, it's
really because the West is not as good as we even thought. We didn't think it was going to be very good, and it's even worse.
Yeah, the Big Ten, to use a restaurant, it's like a nice steak, but you're adding a side of lobster, salmon, and crab with this thing. It's going to be a full plate every week.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, when you add the teams that are coming in this league, it's already a tough conference.
Yeah.
But Nebraska was protected for the last several years of this West Division.
Right. They're really protected this year. The crossovers aren't bad. So yeah, let's see. That's what Sean, this is why this game's so exciting to me. Because it could change things on a dime.
And divisions dissolving, it's big for everybody in the West. Like Wisconsin and Iowa and Minnesota without the West Division.
Yeah.
Now, Iowa.
What are you saying?
They
wouldn't have had the success.
But Iowa got a gift. Like they got to keep Nebraska, Wisconsin, and Minnesota as permanent opponents.
Yeah.
So that they at least get a full Western plate every year.
Mm.
Yeah. Where Nebraska's just going to get Iowa, and that's it.
Yep.
And you know they're going to get, I think it's going to be a rotational thing with USC and UCLA. They'll get one of those every year.
Okay.
And then they'll get Washington or Oregon every year.
Oh, man.
I think of the four Western teams, they're going to get two of them every year. That's my prediction.
Look at those teams right now. Look at how good they are.
Yeah, Washington is rolling.
Washington, USC, and Oregon are legitimate national title threats right now.
And UCLA is ranked.
Yeah, UCLA's not bad. They only put 7 on Utah. I don't know what's going on offense at UCLA, but those other teams are legitimate. In fact, the Pac-12 could not easily, but they could get 2 in the Final Four.
No one's getting 2 this year, though.
You don't think so?
No, because I think the Big Ten champ's going to be set up to go in. Florida State, Texas are in really good positions to get in the playoff. And then you've got the Pac-12 winner, and then possibly Georgia. You really have 5 teams.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Now,
I'm not convinced on
Notre Dame, if they won out, because they play USC, they could fight their way back in the discussion. It's doubtful, though. I think that Ohio State game in South Bend really hurts Notre Dame.
I wanted to think Florida State was a real threat to win it all, but the last 2 weeks I haven't seen it. They squeaked by Boston College, and they shouldn't have beat Clemson.
If they go undefeated, they're in.
Yeah, but that's a big if.
Florida State loses one.
That's a big if.
You know the ACC did away with divisions, so like they're gonna have to they could potentially rematch Clemson.
Yeah, it's a big if. I'm telling you, I've watched them.
Actually, I don't know if they'd rematch Clemson.
I don't know, but I'm telling you, I've watched Florida State the last 2 weeks. It's a big if that they're going to go undefeated.
If Duke somehow wins the ACC,
my God, yeah. You see, that's an example though for Nebraska fans. It's an example of why they should be hopeful. If Duke can do it, you can do it. If Duke can do it, you can do it.
The difference is like a place like Duke, their fans don't get into the recruiting and the inside baseball stuff. They just believe in the guys they recruit and it works. Or a place like Nebraska, you have to recruit the highest of the high. Otherwise, the fans think you're like settling on play. I mean, I just think there's much more pressure at Nebraska in everything you do.
But if you're Matt Rule, you can't worry about that.
No, and he's not. I mean, look at his recruiting class.
Right.
I mean, he's taking a lot of guys that don't have that many offers.
Rule won't worry about that. His personality is such that I don't think he'll let that sort of discussion.
I mean, he's taken 10 or 15 guys that I bet Frost wouldn't have taken.
Right. Rule's not going to feel that. So,
I mean, seriously, they probably have taken 10 commits that I'm not sure Frost would have taken. Right. But he believes in the athletic measurables and abilities of these guys, and they have those camps. Mm-hmm. And so that's his way of doing it.
He trusts himself.
I mean, he's not insecure about criticism on a recruit.
Yeah, it's not just himself either. He trusts his staff. He trusts Evan Cooper. He trusts his guys.
All right. Well, we have our post-game show, Steve Sipple. We're planning on 8:30. 8:30 Saturday night for the always very popular Husker Online post-game show. Robin Washut will join us, and those are a ton of fun. I mean, we generally get over 1,000 live viewers on the show, 20,000 views, 15,000 views each show. So those are as highly viewed as anything we do, and we have a lot of fun doing it.
What's that lager you guys have been drinking?
Cornhead Lager.
If Nebraska wins the game, I'll have 2 on air.
Double.
Well, no, I'll drink them separately, but I'm not going to drink them simultaneously.
I was going to get you a sombrero and a margarita.
If they win, I'd consider.
And I guarantee you, I could say, hey, meet us in the post office lobby of the Haymarket, get Steve Sipple a margarita.
Yeah, if they win, we'll consider anything within reason. within reason.
All right. So thank you for joining us here in Husker Online Headlines. Make sure you check us out at HuskerOnline.com. Got a lot of great coverage here heading into the Michigan game. Tunnel Talk will be on Friday. Obviously, Steve Sipple's column, Robin's work, my work. We got basketball Friday, too. Opening night. We didn't even get into that, but it's football season, Steve Sipple.
Yeah, it's not basketball season. It's Michigan's in town.
But make sure you check us out, HuskerOnline.com. Try us out for a month for $1. You can get a full year for $109. For Steve Sipple, I'm Sean Callahan, signing off for Husker Online Headlines.